All right, I think it's time for me to set the record straight. Now, before I get to setting the record straight, welcome everyone, and hello to everyone. So let me get into it. So I didn't watch WandaVision, but I read about it. I read about the first 5 episodes. And what I mean by setting the record straight for this, the reason why I want to set the record straight, because in the past, there's been some people who come onto the channel, comment on certain videos, especially when it comes to the MCU, and they get triggered when I so-called hate on the MCU. The record straight is that I don't hate the MCU. I'm just getting tired of it. I'm getting bored of it. And I think it needs to mature. But WandaVision seems like it has a great story so far from what I read. Now, I haven't watched it. I won't watch it because I don't want to pay anything to Disney from anybody who's been with this channel since day one. I don't give money to Disney. So when it comes to buying a birthday present for your sister. But other than that, I don't spend money on Disney products for myself. By third party, if anything. But it seems like WandaVision seems like it might go somewhere. It seems like, for what it sounds like, she's trying to create this reality, or someone is trying to create this reality that she's living in with this whole TV show, storybook, 60s, 70s, 80s type of thing that she has a vision from what it seems like. But here's the thing about how I feel about the MCU. It's also the same thing how I feel about the DC. What is it? Not the DCAMU. The DCEU. Yeah, DCEU. Freaking made a whole video about this. The DCEU. That mainly with the MCU, I blame the MCU for this. That everything, it just seems so watered down when it comes to the characters. The reason why I don't want to watch any more of it, and the reason why I got bored of it, and the reason why I say it's immature. Like, for example, you have SpiderMan, right? And he does nothing other than shoot a web and had the same name as Peter Parker, but as terms of what I have seen in the comics, it don't correlate from what I've seen in the comics. I think Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire came closer to being what we see in the comics than what we see with Tom Holland so far. And then people get triggered by my hating of MCU Spider-Man. I, for one, do not like MCU Spider-Man. He does not feel like Spider-Man. And basically, Spider-Man Far From Home is the reason why I've gotten tired of the MCU. There are like people saying the MCU has been too light. They got dark at some points, but they need to mature. They need to mature and get away with the kiddie stuff. I know Marvel's under Disney, and I know they want to appeal to the kids, but this is the thing, though. This is the thing. I read Spider-Man comics back in the day, right? I watched the reason why we even watched even read some of these comics, mainly 90 kids, because some will watch the cartoons like the X-Men and Spider-Man. From then on, I read the comics, and one of my first Spider-Man comics was actually Maximum Carnage. I forgot which one, part 3 or part 4. And Carnage is going on his rampage, killing a whole bunch of people in New York with his cronies. With Shriek and the Doppelganger and Demon Goblin and who else is part of that gang? I feel like I'm forgetting somebody. But the gore that was illustrated, that was drawn on those pages, it was probably, for somebody as young as I was at the time, probably still 8, 7, it was not catastrophic, but like a whoa moment for me. Because at this point, thank you, it's finally over. At this point, I thought at this point, Spider-Man comics were happy, joy, and they ain't gonna have all that violence in there. I was wrong. Maximum Carnage is somewhat violent, and I think Marvel has to step a little bit more in that direction to keep people interested. That's just my thoughts on it. Just like me not wanting to watch any MCU films is my decision. Like some people get mad because I don't want to watch the MCU anymore. That's on me. You guys can watch it, but I ain't. I probably still will for reviews and all that. But my enthusiasm for the MCU has gone from here to down there now. Because I know what's going to happen later on. They don't want to appeal to the old fans, people who been around longer than me to read these comic books. They don't want to appeal to those. Why? That's too easy. Or it makes sense. The things I would like to see is a Maximum Carnage storyline, but we'll never get to see that because they never will mature. They never going to mature with that Spider-Man to make it see that, to see a Maximum Carnage. What they want to do is put all this agenda type stuff with the POC and all that in it. And I just feel like that's the wrong way to go about things when it comes to this, because they had something good going. I do admit, we all know they had something good going. But the way I see them going with Thor, Love and Thunder, and then Eternals, and whatever else they got with Captain America 2, whatever, Black Panther 2, whatever they choose to bring out, it's not going to be good. It's not going to be superheroes. It's all going to be about some type of POC agenda or social political politics that we don't want to see. But it's not superhero type stuff. It really isn't. And that's why I fear where it's going. That's why I'm like, I don't want to watch it. It's the same thing with DC. It's the same thing with DC. Like some people seem to don't get mad when I call it DC, but when I call it the MCU about it, they get up in arms about it. It's the same thing with both companies. Both companies are doing this. They're doing this in the comics, and they're doing this in their live stuff, action stuff. Marvel hasn't acted upon it yet, because they've been kind of slowed down due to whatever. But DC has done this. They've done this with Batwoman. You see how that's going. People seem to love me ranting on Batwoman. And done it with Batwoman. And who knows when they're going to finally do it with the MCU. It's coming. It's coming. I ain't saying WandaVision is that, but it's coming. It's the same thing with all these IPs. It's the same thing with Star Wars. Eventually now I think Star Wars is trying to get, they just need to weed out whatever the crackheads they got in there to keep trying to keep this thing going. I just don't understand, and this goes for all three companies. This goes with, well, actually two. This goes with Disney and Warner Brothers. You gotta get rid of these crackhead weirdos out here that don't know how to write characters, don't know how to write stories, know nothing about these characters and how they act. They gotta get rid of those type of people. And I think if they get rid of those type of people, that goes with Star Wars, DC, and Marvel, or whoever else, Terminator, whoever else, they gotta get rid of those people. They gotta put actual fans, people who love these characters in there in order for this stuff to be great again. It goes with the live action stuff, and it goes with the written stuff in the comics. That's the problem with both mainly Marvel and DC right now. They don't have fans. They just have simple jack agenda people in there that's just writing this stuff and don't really know what the hell is going on with these characters or even with the story. There's many things I would like to see with Marvel or the MCU, but I just don't think they're going to do it because that makes too much sense, as people say. I would love to see a great depiction, a true depiction of Doctor Doom, a true depiction of someone like Carnage in there. which they probably might have with that new Venom coming out, whenever that comes out. I would like to see a good depiction of Kang the Conqueror, a good depiction of Nightmare, Dormammu, if he's planning on coming back, a good depiction of Mephisto, even a good depiction of Blackheart. As we all seen Blackheart in Ghost, the original Ghost Rider, that was not good. For anybody who's seen the original Ghost Rider with Nicolas Cage, we love to see good depictions of. Well, we kind of seen good depiction of Magneto, but we love to see that again. We love to see X-Men again, done right, and that's how it was at the end of 20th Century Fox. Now that was whimpering in at the last second, barely dragging his feet. That's all we want to see. We don't want to see much. I mean, we want to see a lot, but we don't want much. Just keep, for the 10th, 11th time, just keep the agenda out of there. Keep the politics on there. But once again, as the kids say, that would be too much sense to make to do that. So, trying to think what I was going to say now. So, this is coming up the top of the dome right now. But like I said, it seems like WandaVision is doing well. It seems like some people like it, but it also seems like they throwing certain people in there like they did with Luke Skywalker and Mandalorian. It just seems like a quick way for people to bring them in, bring the audience back in, and all of a sudden put a wrench in the plans or something like that. Hopefully that doesn't happen. Hopefully the MCU during their year off gets it and realize that nobody wants to see that. Just make a movie about superheroes. Don't make anything about anything else. That's the reason why Wonder Woman 84 failed, because they made a Lifetime film. They didn't make a superhero film. They made a Lifetime film about a little girl, a little Amazonian girl crying about her dead boyfriend, wishing him back. That's the point of the movie. Nobody wanted to see that. That's why I said the movie was boring. We want to see superheroes be superheroes. Heroes have no color. Type of stuff we want to see. But I will say this. I seen the news trailer for Falcon and the Winter Soldier. That looks interesting. And it seems like it might be the step in the right direction. I actually, out of all the stuff they announced, it looks like the most interesting I want to see, but I don't want to pay Disney Plus anything. But I had different ways of watching certain stuff. I just haven't done it with WandaVision or even The Mandalorian because I don't feel like it. Because I'm burnt out. But I will say this. Seeing that trailer with the Falcon and Winter Soldier has brought my enthusiasm up a little. But it's still waning. We have to see what comes after, movie-wise, too. I just think with them doing this whole multiverse with Spider-Man, it's just pretty much just throwing anything in there to make sure it sticks. Hopefully get some people back. But like I said, as long as you make a movie about superheroes and keep the other stuff out of there and don't be too cute, you'll have your fans back. The normies are going to watch it. It seems like they're going to watch it either way. But if you want your real fans, the ones making YouTube videos and YouTube channels about this stuff back, you gotta do things right. You gotta do things right with this one. That's why all these YouTubers, like myself, all these Star Wars YouTubers and whoever else is doing stuff, they're doing it because in response to what has happened in the last few years when it comes to mainly Star Wars, but when it comes to all these people's favorite franchises and all kinds of stuff. I think in the last few years, I think we deserve, when it comes to Hollywood, some good stuff. Now, who knows if that's going to happen. Another thing about Hollywood, my faith in them is waning too, because them people in Hollywood are on a different level of thinking than we are. From us normal people. I don't know what kind of thinking they are, but that's the kind of reason why I don't like watching movies, period, anymore. But we'll just see what happens. And mainly, when it comes to watching film in general, I'm banking on a lot of this Kong versus Godzilla, which the next month of March, will be a lot of. So expect to see a lot of videos on those two characters a lot. But I don't know. Well, maybe I'm asking too much. Maybe we're asking too much from the Marvel and DCs of the world. Maybe they can't do it anymore. But who knows? Time will tell.